26-year-old Christopher Alvin Dailey lived in Huntsville, Alabama. He worked at a Huntsville Hilton hotel. He was last seen on the 25th of April in 1995 at an employee meeting. A full day later, his family reported him missing because he never arrived home. An hour before Christopher was reported missing, two 17-year-olds called the police because they discovered a body close to a former logging road with a single gunshot to the head. Investigators at the Decatur Police Department arrived at the scene and were able to determine that the body belonged to Christopher Dailey. Christopher's car, along with his ID and wallet, were found half sunken in the river nearly 4 miles away. Despite an intense investigation, with no suspects, witnesses, recovered weapons, or motives, the case soon went cold. On November 18, 2020, a man by the name of Johnny Dwight Whited placed a call to the Decatur Police Department that helped crack the cold case. He said that he wanted to confess to taking the life of Christopher Dailey. Police detective Sean McAdam was initially skeptical, since Johnny could not remember what year this was. Sean and other detectives met up with Johnny to reenact the scene. Johnny showed them exactly what happened, and was even able to show where Christopher's car went into the river. Johnny told them that he wanted to confess now as he is terminally ill. He showed remorse and apologized numerous times. It is not an excuse though. He still took someone's life and should have come forward all those years ago. Christopher's family were informed. They were grateful for the news. They did not believe that it would ever get solved. 16-year-old Dilcia Mejia lived in Miami-Dade County in 2004. She lived with her mom, Dilcia Oliva, and stepfather, Rahul Mada. Dilcia attended Miami Beach High School. She was last seen by her mom on the night of September 16, 2004. Oliva left the home for work just after 5 p.m. without checking on her daughter. About 4 hours later, Rahul made a frantic call to a 911 operator and said that when he arrived home, he found his stepdaughter's lifeless body. In his statement, he claims he left the house just before 8 a.m. and when he came back about 90 minutes later, he discovered her body. Rahul was questioned at the time, but denied any involvement in the case. It was well known that he and Dilcia did not like each other. Rahul had visible injuries, such as scratches and bruises. He claimed that he fell on a dresser while calling 911. Investigators also found it strange that nothing was stolen, and there were no signs of forced entry. After the incident, Rahul and Oliva broke up, and he moved to California. Oliva always believed that Rahul is responsible for what happened to Dilcia. Dilcia's neck had been slashed. Under her fingernails, investigators did find DNA belonging to the person who took her life. Investigators entered it into the CODIS database, but no matches could be made. There were no other leads, and the case went cold. In 2020, DNA technology was a lot more advanced, and back in 2004, investigators decided to take the DNA found at a crime scene and test it against the DNA of Rahul, and came back as a positive match. Rahul was arrested in Watsonville, California in September 2020. On September 28, while waiting to be extradited to Miami-Dade County, he took his own life by stabbing himself with a pen. 14-year-old Ronda Blaylock lived in Surry County, North Carolina. She attended Atkins High School. On August 26, 1980, Ronda and a friend got into a blue pickup truck while walking home from school. Her friend, made it home safely, but she never did. Ronda's parents called the police to report her as missing. A few days later, Ronda's body was found in a heavily wooded area in Pilot Mountain. She had been assaulted and stabbed. Investigators had a lot of leads to follow, as they knew she was last seen in a blue pickup truck, and a friend gave a pretty good description of the suspect. Despite all of this, the case went cold for many years. In 2015, a special task force was formed in hopes to find the suspect. Investigators gave a description of the man. He went by the names of Jimmy or Butch. He was in his late teens or early 20s. The man drove a 1970s or 1980s model blue Chevy pickup truck. In 2019, investigators decided to submit the DNA of the suspect that was found at the crime scene to a private DNA company. They found a match. Then on August 2nd, 2019, an arrest was finally made in connection with the case. The Surrey County Sheriff's Office arrested Robert James Atkins of Fisher Valley in Dobson. On December 15, 2020, 64-year-old Robert pleaded guilty and he was sentenced to 21 years for his crimes. Sadly, Ronda's parents did not survive to see the case solved.